Here is a look at your gap and go trades for the week of March 9th through the 13th. I will go over price targets on the 5-minute time frame, have a gap recap for March 2nd through the 6th, and update the chart as well. Hi everyone, it's Dow on the Dow. First up is Boeing. We ended the week at $231.11, up 4.08%. We are at one level of resistance. To the north side takes us to 3 standard deviations, and that is roughly 233.55. And above that, at another potential take profit area, 236.45. To the south side, 2 standard deviations, which we are very close to, 230.64. The middle of the trend is now back at an area we've already been to at 224.88. This was last week's middle of the trend line. I shall delete that. I don't need it. I don't need any of these horizontal lines. I just mark them out so that you can see where we've been, where we could be headed if you are new to trading and charting. Now, below this line is, which is support, or at least one level. Below that, at another level of support and a potential buy-in area, as well as a potential stop-loss area, 218.95. Below that, 216.16, and at -4 standard deviations, another potential buy-in area as well as another potential stop-loss area, 213.19. Looking left, last week, the week began here, it ended here. You can see we were all over the place. Let me move this slightly over so you can see. So we went down, the wick got you in almost to this line, and then we bounced back up, and then here's another wick, but this red line, let me extend that so you can see, that red line is resistance and a potential take profit area, which is grinding sideways, and then we fell down, creating this gap right here, and then we filled the gap to the upside. So congrats if you went long and you filled it to 229.14. Sometimes I just get out at a gap or a penny above just for a quick trade. All right, and then we fell back down. Here's your clear area of support, potential buy-in area. This is resistance on the way up, and when we are up on the way down, that turns into support. This gap right here closed on Friday, so congrats. Oops, again. If you played that one, and then this one. Now I extend this out, and I have no idea when it's going to touch. And when I extended it all the way here, it actually touched right there. So that took us to 229.25. Here's a gap, and then another gap fill, very close to where we were. It just repeated the cycle, but we went for a heavier discount down. All right, what else? Did anything else close? Oh, no, but we have this opportunity gap up here at 260.36, not in the channel, not in the zone, not even close. Just something to be aware of. And to the south side, because there is always a south side, we have all of these gaps to contend with. Not in the channel, not in the zone, not even close. Down the road. That's your pullback area. And Boeing is up because it's nearing a major deal, it says, for 500 737 MAX jets from China, expected to be revealed during President Trump's visit to Beijing from March 31 to April 2nd. There is no way I would go if I were him. They're going to pull a Trump on him and probably try to assassinate him. I would just be very careful. Just zoom it in. All right. Let's go to the next one. Oh, wait, very quickly with Boeing. All I'm looking at is from here to here in this upcoming period. So we are in an upward channel still, but the middle of the trend is down here. So I will anticipate a pullback and then grinding our way up if we continue this path north along this line. Just keep that in mind. And the middle of the trend line again is here. And by the end of the week, we could end up at 232.31, very close to where we were. See, we're just making incremental gains here. And then the outer band could take us to 238.06. And at the end of the week, 220.70, 217.79, and potentially 214.76 if we continue to go up. The lines kind of slowly go up as well, if that makes any sense. All right, the next one is NIO. I probably only make sense to myself, but that's okay. It works for me. My trading style works for me. You have to trade your own way because it won't make sense if you try to trade in a format that you're not comfortable with. All right. I don't look at dead cat bounces and any of that other stuff. All right. The middle of the trend on NIO is here, very close to a line I've already marked out. You can just see we're just grinding all over the place in the same areas. Because I'm so close to this line, I will delete this middle of the trend line, which I marked out for the week of the 2nd. It's just retracing. So that's resistance. From down here to here, we are at resistance. We could chop sideways, or we could continue our path upward. As you can see, we're in an upward channel on the 5. Different buy and sell signals on the different channels, but I'm only speaking about the 5. All right, to the north side, back to an area we've been, 503, 514, and finally, let's move this. If we hit this, that's not going to happen on Monday, 526. This is down the road. And then we have this gap to look forward to as well to the upside. All right, to the south side, basically at -2 standard deviations, this gap closes at 459. If you'd like to go short, 447, and down the road, 435. Not in the channel, not in the zone right now. And looking left, we started the week here. And then, this is in my way, we had a gap down, but it's already filled to the upside, so that's done. And then we just kind of went sideways there, and then boom, got hit. And then a bounce. So this gap closed to the north side at 470. Okay, this gap is still in play, as I mentioned, for the upcoming week. We hit resistance here. There's a sell-off. That lined up with the frothy RSI. This is resistance. This is support. That's all I look at. I don't make it more than it is. Just support and resistance. Just another tool, another confirmation. All right. And then this touched this line, which acts as support because that is the gap that is trying to get filled, and then bounced off of that. On the way down, these lines turn into support. On the way up, resistance. And there are many lines, many, many, many lines. All right, what else? But it bounced off this line that I drew. It's so weird how that works. Oh, let's extend this because this gap is closed. And that took us down to about 445 or 444, and that opened up on February the 5th. Delete, no longer a landmine to the south side, delete. All right. What else? We've got that one already closed. So 551 is the next target, and then after that we've got another one to about 607, but that's not in the channel, not in the zone, not even close. All right, the next one is going to be RIVN. 1537 is where we ended, up 1.18%. So we are at right here. So resistance takes us to an area we've already been. I don't need those lines again. Someone told me that I need more lines in my chart. That was pretty funny. Okay, 1560. Then I said I'm too lazy to delete it. Once I have it on here, it's like I'm not going to do that. Unless it interferes with my middle of the trend. That's all I care about. 1579 and $16 to the south side. The middle of the trend for the week here. Every day it can change, but I'm just looking at this for the week. So that's going to be support. We could chop sideways or slowly grind upward. We're still in an upward channel. Okay, to the south side, 1478, support, stop loss area, potential buy-in area, as well as here, 1458, 1437. Price in general never goes down to -4 from wherever typically we are. I mean, that's not normal. If price hovers around the middle of the trend, it would take a lot to get slammed down to this level. That would be weird. And then that is like potential buy the dip area. And then when it hits that level, I anticipate a buy in as people take advantage of the dip. So what happened this prior week here? Well, we have this gap. Oh, wait, is it still? Wait, did I mark that out? So we gapped up. So we are, oh, wait. No, we didn't. Well, that's a big gap on earnings there. Geez. 1.29 billion. They were expected to bring in just 1.26 billion for RIVN, and then it ran. But look at that. What comes up, what goes up, I should say, must go down. What goes down doesn't necessarily get back up again, but sometimes you got to get down to get back up. So that is a massive run up, and it can't sustain. There's no way. You have to have a pullback. Grinding, consolidating, basing, and then a possible leg up, like a real beginning leg up. This, you just gave it back. Not all of it, but some of it. So that is still in play, as well as this one and this one. Oops. Command Z. Undo. Okay, what else? So just for this week, let's get back to this week. This past week. So we opened up right here, broke past the resistance line, bounced off of this line, which was a price target, and then kind of grinding the clear support line, shot up, clear resistance here, that's your take profit, back to support, back to resistance, and then bounced off of this line that I drew. This is support. Support didn't quite hit that line, ran up, resistance, fell back down, support, and the cycle continues. It's just incremental. Things aren't just going to go up and up and up, and then all of a sudden you're like way up. No. Just like Palantir, every ticker will get slammed down. And the scary part is when it gets slammed down, do you buy? I was just talking to someone like, oh, I'm so afraid I lost money in the past. Well, if you had stayed in it and rode the highs and the lows, you would have been way far ahead. And then I reminded him he needed to fund his Roth IRA before the window closes for 2025 on April 15th. You've got to just park your money in a Roth if you haven't done anything, and then just put it in the cash account part of your Roth, and then figure out what to do if you're paralyzed. Doing nothing, you gain nothing. Okay, but if you do obviously put your money into your retirement account or fund something and it pulls back, don't panic. Over time, you will make money, more money than you can most likely in a job that could end. Okay, that's enough. I'm done talking about that. All right, I think, I've already given you all these. So let's go to, at least I hope so. Well, if not, you can just look at my drawing there. You need to think about this potential to the upside. We could hit that solidly if we continue to go up with this pattern. We could hit it. Oh, I got to convert this to another time frame because it ends here. So in a couple of weeks, let's just put it that way. Middle of the trend, 15.18, down to 14.36 possibly, but I don't know. Okay, Nike is the next one. Nike is getting slammed. It says stair step down. Oh, let's move this. All right, we're at 57.01, down 1.74%. Resistance, take profit, 57.43. And when I say take profit, I'm not talking about, I'm just addressing one level of resistance where you might want to get out. This isn't long term. You just set it and forget it if that's the case. But for people who like to get in, get up, get out. 57.77 and another level of resistance. Not going to happen, I don't think, on Monday, but if it does wick up there, it will get sold off. 58.10. Okay, sideways action and support. 56.78, 56.12, 55.77, and 55.46. The 52-week low on this is 52.28. The high, $80. We're nearing that 52-week. Let's see, 56. Nope, I'm not. I would be putting oh gosh, down here probably. A buy-in order. Okay, what happened last week? I'm missing a line. You can just, when you do this, oh wait, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and yeah. Okay, sorry. I withdraw that statement. So let's take a look at what happened. This is the beginning of the week. We were at resistance here, and then wow, look at that. That wick was your buy-in, and then we rode it up, went sideways, back down to support, and then a buy-in, resistance. Even though we're stair-stepping down, there are opportunities to get out at resistance and a higher level. And then melting down, look at that, just following this middle of the trend line. Clear support, buy-in, and then just grinding sideways. And then the RSI, what is the RSI doing here on the 5? I got to move this out of the way. Oh, it's turning up. So that's good. And what else? I think that's all I want to say about Nike. By the end of the week, if we continue to go down, the outer band could touch 51.63 and the upper band 54.33. But hopefully we just kind of grind sideways and then start to go up. But down the road, according to the analyst, the one-year forecast is 75.92, which is a 33% return. This ticker has been slammed down, and that happened during COVID. Things have not turned around for Nike, where it gains traction. It ended, the 52-week high is $80, but we've seen this thing way higher, way, way, way higher. All right, that does it for me. That is a look at Boeing, NIO, RIVN, Nike, and Tesla. Boeing is back at the top of the list 2 weeks in a row that I've been tracking this, but I've been tracking it for 118 weeks, so thereabouts for this whole segment. If there is a ticker you want me to go over, please let me know, and have a great trading week.